pointed this out. That third quarter against the Timberwolves, that's this Bucks team at its best. So in your mind, we keep talking about finding the identity of this team. What is that best identity?
Well, first of all, I think it's three things that jump to mind. Number one, you want to hit those perimeter shots. That's what they were doing. They got Beasley the ball in the third quarter because Doc Rivers walked in at halftime and said, the man doesn't have any points. You know why? Because he doesn't have any shot attempts because you guys are not getting him the basketball. So you certainly want them to shoot the ball. Bobby Portis was a bit more aggressive. Beasley was more aggressive in the third quarter. That is a plus. One of the other things that we've got to pay attention to since Doc Rivers has arrived, here's where they've gotten worse. Yes, they've improved defensive efficiency from 19th to 10th, but offensively, they've struggled. Do you notice since Doc Rivers arrived, they're shooting an NBA worst 70.7% from the free throw line? From the free throw line. Now, that's not Doc Rivers' fault. Obviously, you're looking at other guys. But they're also last in points in the paint. That's not something you ever associated with the Milwaukee Bucks. And so you got to get some, baskets closer, some points closer to the basket. You got to hit your free throws. You got to hit perimeter shots.
You also have to get healthy, right? I mean, Chris Middleton, he's out with an ankle injury. He's missed 7 of the last 8 games. What's the outlook for when we could be seeing him, Woj?
Malika, I'm told Chris Middleton could be back as soon as next week. He's been out since February 6th with that ankle. I'm told there's still some soreness. But he's tracking well. And, to Stephen A's point, you look at this Milwaukee team, those 11 games with Doc Rivers, they've only had Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dame Lillard, Brook Lopez, and Middleton twice, the 4 of them together. I talked to John Horst, their GM, this morning, and what encourages him is that he is starting to see the shape of a team that you need to win in the postseason, the style of play. They've gotten better defensively. And even though they are down offensively, what Horst sees are that they're getting good shots, and when their group is healthy, and it's Lillard and Giannis and Middleton and Lopez taking those shots, that the offense is going to go back up. So they're encouraged in Milwaukee, and the idea that they can get Middleton back next week, that will certainly elevate this team.
Oh, excuse-making Doc Rivers, right? Right, he's taking a lot of heat, and rightfully so. But you think about their last 5 games, they have 2 signature wins. One against the defending champs where they beat the brakes off of them, and then this last game where they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. And to go to your point, Stephen A., and I'm glad you brought that up about the paint points, that's on Giannis. Giannis is arguably the most dominant player in today's game. Giannis have to stop showing people that he has a bag and somewhat accept a lesser role of isolation. Meaning being more involved in dribble handoffs, setting the screen and diving to the basket, right? Like you have Brook Lopez that's on the floor, that's a floor spacer. Like embrace that role like we're watching Anthony Davis basically embrace that center position. He could do it.
It seems to me, being around them, Stephen A., and I saw them a couple of days before you did, and I'm interested to see if you agree with this. They think the offense is at least an easier fix than the defense. The word they used with me was broken.
But their defense is top 10 under
Yeah, but I mean
Doc.
the big picture. It's got to the top 10 in the last minute and a half.
Yeah, that's fair.
The reason that Doc Rivers is there is because that defense was not top anything for so long this season for the first, 46, 47 games. And they feel, again, I heard them use the word broken about the defense.
Right.
The process of fixing the defense has started, and more serious, which is why they've elevated. Offensively, Perk, that is up to the players. That is something, and by the way, they didn't have practices. They had to try to do this through film study and just discussion and some walkthroughs, which doesn't work, as we know, at this time of year. So Giannis, that's on mostly Giannis. And I think that he understands that and will make that adjustment. If they can get the defense to where it's better than what got Adrian Griffin fired, they are confident in a way that I got to tell you surprised me a little bit. They are absolutely determined and convinced that they'll be able to solve this before they get to the point.